Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day 573. 573, Wednesday. Oh boy, what do we do every Wednesday? Well, we take out the trash and we have chicken every Wednesday. At least I do. It's trash night. I have chicken every Wednesday. October the 10th, 2018. Thank you so much for tuning in. Rodentstein. Rod Rodentstein, Deputy AG, actually the acting AG. We now know that Rodentstein did talk about wearing a wire to trap the president to advance the 25th Amendment coup. We now know that Rodentstein did talk about wearing a wire to trap the president to advance a 25th Amendment coup. We also know that Lisa Page was in the meeting with Andy McCabe when Rodentstein made the comment. We know that Lisa Page was in the meeting with Andy McCabe when Rodentstein made the comment. And we also know that they took it seriously. According to who? James Baker. Now, he wasn't in the meeting, but after the meeting, he had a meeting with Andy McCabe and Lisa Page. And they told him what Rodentstein said. And they didn't seem to be joking. They were dead serious. And Baker took it that they were dead serious. Not joking, according to Baker. James Baker, former FBI counsel, to Andy McCabe and James Comey, the commie. So, Rodentstein lied. Once he was caught lying, Rodentstein then had to say it was a joke. But McCabe and Page didn't think that he was joking, and it appears that Baker didn't think he was joking either, based on what he was told by Andy McCabe and Lisa Page. This conversation actually took place 1 week after Comey was fired. And of course, Rodentstein has been complicit in the cover-up. Rosenstein says he never heard of Bruce and Nellie Orr, never heard about Bruce and Nellie Orr and what they were doing. That's what he says. Hard to believe, isn't it? Do you think that he will deny knowing anything about Mr. Sussman passing Steele dossier information directly to Mr. Baker, who certainly was sharing it with Peter's been stroking us? That's what he says. He was sharing it with counterintelligence. That would have been Peter's been stroking us and his good friend Lisa Page. And they certainly would have shared that information with Andy McCabe, and I have it very difficult to believe that Mr. Baker wouldn't share that with the FBI director, J. Edgar Comey, former director of the FBI. I'm with her. This whole thing stinks like a rat named Rodentstein. His day is coming. Believe me. Sooner the midterms are over. The Inspector General Huckleberry Horowitz is looking into all these things. There's no way he can do an honest investigation, an honest report, and not tell us about the crimes of Rodentstein, including this little gag to put together the 25th Amendment wear-a-wire coup. That's all going to be included. He signed off on one of the FISA warrants. I think we're going to find out that he knew all about Nellie Orr and Bruce Orr and Mr. Sussman. and the whole shebang. That beady-eyed little rat will be exposed as a liar. Overwhelming evidence. And he's participating in the cover-up. I don't like Rodentstein very much, in case you didn't figure that out. I don't like Rodentstein. The Rotten Reverend Clinton says that the accusations against Bill are different. That Bill had an intense, long-lasting partisan investigation. You kidding me? Now, this conversation took place in a CNN interview with Christine Armapour, of course, who loves the Clintons. Loves them, loves them, loves them. Defended them the whole damn time. I remember quite well, Miss Armapour, your defense of the Clintons. And the Rotten Reverend Clinton looked a little crazy. She's got the crazy eyes going. She's got the crazy eyes a-going. So Armapour was asking, you know, when you're going out on this little tour with Meet the Clintons, an evening with the Clintons, aren't you a little concerned about the questions that might be asked based on the climate, the Me Too movement and everything? Aren't you a little concerned that Bill is going to be asked questions? And the Rotten Reverend, well, the accusations against Bill are different because Bill had intense, long-lasting partisan investigation. So she's suggesting that the investigation into Kavanaugh was not intense, was not long-lasting, and was not having anything to do with partisanship. And the whole damn time, what were the Clintons doing? For those of you who remember it, and for those of you who don't, the entire media was out defending Slick Willie, even after he came on TV and lied to every damn one of us. I did not have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. And a week later he had to come out and admit he lied. The whole time the Rotten Reverend Clinton is sicking her union thugs. You got James Carville going out there on Sunday morning on Meet the Press and saying, yeah, well, Michael, you know, this girl here, you know, Paula Jones, she's what you get when you drag a $100 bill through a trailer park. All the Hillary and Bill Clinton people were out trashing the people who were accusing Clinton. They went on 60 Minutes and denied completely that he had this long affair with Jennifer Flowers, even though everybody knew it. Dozens and dozens of Arkansas state troopers who would go pick up Flowers, pick her up and bring her to Bill, or take Bill to her. To hotels, to restaurants, everywhere. Tons and tons of witnesses that they had this long affair. They trashed Jennifer Flowers, just like they did Juanita Broderick, and Paula Jones, and everyone else. And then he made the big mistake. He left his pecker tracks on the dress of Monica Lewinsky. And my guess is they may have examined that cigar to look for fecal matter. Fecal matter on that Cuban. Compliments of Slick Willie. It's pretty sickening, isn't it? Maybe I should go to in town, if they show up to this town. Of course, they're not going to come here. Too many conservatives here. But maybe I can go to a location where they are going to be, and I can ask a question. Of course, that would never happen, because the only people who will be allowed to ask questions on an evening with Bill and Hillary Clinton are the planted people who've been planted in the audience to ask the questions. There will be no regular folks asking questions that weren't previously prepared and given to them by people who are being paid or working for the Clintons. It's all going to be a big setup. It's going to be a show. Tom Cotton says that he thinks that it was Chuck the Cuck Schumer who was behind the leaking of Professor Blasé Fraud's letter to the Washington Post. Tom Cotton thinks it was Schumer who was behind the leaking. And that has to do with, he explains, a couple people that are kind of connected, that are connected to Schumer. And that's the reason why he believes that. It's perfectly possible that Chucky the Cuck would have been the guy, because he was pretty quiet about that, you know. He really didn't step up and comment too much about, you know, who leaked that to the Washington Post. He's kind of staying out of that fight, so that's something he normally wouldn't do. So it makes sense. It might very well have been Cucky Chuck Schumer. Maybe Tom Cotton knows something. But if it is proven to be true, and I hope they do get to the bottom of it, they say they're going to look into it. I hope they do. And if it turns out to be Cucky Chuck Schumer, he should certainly be censored at the very least. More on James Baker, former chief counsel, the Federal Bureau of I'm With Her. The Daily Caller now saying that Baker told Congress that David Corn, hard left-winger, David Corn of Mother Jones, provided him with a copy of the dossier. That's the Steele dossier, by the way. The Steele dossier the day after Trump won the election. Are you me? Let me read that again. James Baker told Congress that David Corn of Mother Jones provided him with a copy of the Steele dossier the day after Trump won the election? Oh, God. That would nullify just about everything that we've been told by every FBI and DOJ witness and employee that we've heard from. Everyone who's had anything to do with it, what they've said, they've commented on, and everything else. If this is true, this completely destroys every timeline. It destroys the testimony of Comey. It destroys the testimony of Brennan. It destroys the testimony of everyone. McCabe, Peter's been stroking us, the whole 9 yards. This completely shifts the narrative timeline. This puts the dossier in the hands of the General Counsel to McCabe and J. Edgar Comey the day after the election. Which means that whole charade around the 1st of January, January 9th, January 10th, was certainly nothing more than a show. It was a show, too, to do nothing more than to provide the reason for BuzzFeed to publish the dossier so that the media networks could come out and cover it and publicize it, put it out there. The entire thing was a complete play based on this information here. Man, oh man. There have got to be a lot of former high-level Obama administration folks going to jail. Very high level, at the highest level, going to prison. There's no way you can back out of this. If this is true, what we're being told, this changes the entire timeline, the whole ballgame. It's up. And a lot of people have been caught lying under oath and sworn testimony. A lot of people. Now, we have Kevin McCarthy, who is believed to be the next Speaker of the House, saying now that he's going to introduce a bill to fully fund the border wall, Trump's wall, and that they'll do it right after the midterms if you vote for them. Kind of a ploy against the voters. Hey, we're going to have the bill ready to go to give Trump all the money for the border wall. It's going to be dangling right here. But you got to vote for us after the midterms because the Democrats won't do it. But I will because I'm Kevin McCarthy and I plan on being the next speaker. What kind of game is this? Kevin McCarthy is a loyalist of the establishment. He's a protege of Paul Big Ears Eddie Munster Ryan, who's opposed to this and will even fight it. So what you got here is a game that's going to be run on us where you have a make-believe right out of the WWF or WWE or whatever they call it. You're going to have literally a make-believe war, fight, battle go on between Big Ears Eddie Munster Ryan and Kevin McCarthy over this wall bill. Why? To make you think that Kevin McCarthy is a pro-Trump, populist, nationalist good guy, when in fact he's an establishment hack hoping to fill the shoes of the soon-to-be vacant speaker position, which I assume they believe will be held by Republicans. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for this. As soon as the midterm is over, the day after, I will be calling my congressmen, and I recommend you do the same, and let them know that we want them to vote for Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House. Call your congressman the day after the midterms, when we maintain control of the House, and ask your congressman, or whoever answered the phone, who is your congressman? Who is he planning on supporting for Speaker? The answer should be Jim Jordan. If it's not, make it perfectly clear that you would be extremely happy if he were to support Jordan for Speaker. Now, Kevin McCarthy obviously knows that Jordan has a lot of support, and this is designed to take the wind out of Jordan's sails. This is designed to fool a lot of people into believing that McCarthy is actually a big Trump supporter and on board. No, he's not. He only goes along with Trump because he has to. He's been instrumental in blocking funding for the wall, right along with Big Ears Eddie Munster-Ryan. And now he wants to try to pretend that he's all for it, and he's going to lead the charge for it. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I don't buy it, and don't you buy it either. Jim Jordan, let your congressman know that you want him to support Jim Jordan for Speaker the day after the midterms. Thank you. Well, who do we have here? Haven't heard from this asshole in a while. None other than Mr. Potato Head. John Brennan, Mr. Potato Head. Tweeting again, this time on Kavanaugh. He tweets the following. It is impossible to overstate Donald Trump's corrosive impact on our political culture and our national character. Rejection of his demagoguery, his lies, and the politics of fear espoused by McConnell and Graham is at hand. If you want to make a difference, vote. He also refers to Professor Blase Fraud as a national treasure. No, she's an idiot and a liar and a mind control expert in hypnosis, self-hypnosis, how to use fairy tales to create narratives, to spin lies and make up stories. She is apparently overseeing the CIA program there at Stanford on mind control as an extension of the MK Ultra plan programs. We know all about you, Professor Fraud, and we know all about you, Mr. Potato Head. Your day is coming. Your day is coming, Mr. Potato Head. And you're a nut. Totally unhinged. The rotten Reverend Clinton. Being interviewed recently, and she says that, quote, you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for. Oh, this woman's going to drive me to drink. Let's break this down. You cannot be civil with a party that wants to destroy what you stand for. Who is the party that is acting in an uncivilized way at this time? Banging on the doors of the Senate, at the Supreme Court, holding all these crazy rallies, standing around with pink pussy hats on, calling for deaths to people, challenging people and their families in restaurants, at bus stops, at gas stations, in their cars. We have literally SJWs taking over Portland or Seattle or somewhere out west, like God knows where that is. We have these people coming completely freaking unglued. So the rotten Reverend Clinton is trying to make an excuse for them, saying you can't be civil when you're going up against a political party that believes something differently than you. So if you believe something different than the opposite party, which is the whole point, right? Then you have the right to be uncivilized. If you disagree with your opponent, they disagree with you, then you now have the right to be uncivilized because you're in disagreement with the opposite party. Isn't the whole point of having two parties that they would have disagreement? I think so. And based on that, the rotten Reverend Clinton says that justifies your right to be crazy and unhinged and unglued. That's just amazing. So at this point, Oh, and as I said many, many videos before, the Rotten Reverend Clinton has every intention of running in a rematch with Trump, which I would love to see, because she'll get destroyed twice as bad as she did in 2016. I would love to see it. She has every intention of running. She has every intention of running in 2020. She wants a Trump rematch. It's exactly what she wants. And she's going to move heaven and earth to get it. She'll bully anyone she has to. Anything she has to do to clear the field, she will do it. Doesn't matter. I know the Clintons. I know the Rotten Reverend. That power, she's not going to let that power get away from her. She'll pursue it to her dying, to her last breath. She has every intention in her sick mind at being the Democratic nominee. I'm absolutely guaranteeing that to you, as I did 6 months ago. I told you 6 months ago. The Rotten Reverend is not going away. So, now I have a little poll question that I want to put out there to all of you. So, here is the poll question, okay? So, I'm kind of torn. In a way, I certainly want to see the Rotten Reverend Clinton indicted for all of her crimes, because she was the mastermind, one of the masterminds of the plot, of the frame-up. But on the other hand, I want to see her run again against Trump so that she gets her ass kicked even worse than she got her ass kicked in 2016. So now I face a dilemma. I'm wondering if all of you out there in comment land can help me solve this dilemma I have. So I now want to ask each and every one of you to stop, take a pause for just a second, think about it for just a second, and then comment in the comment section which of those that you think that you would prefer. Would you prefer A, that the Rotten Reverend Clinton be held accountable for crimes, indicted, and thrown in prison? Or B, would you prefer to see that she not face punishment in lieu of the fact that she would become then the Democratic nominee in 2020 to run in a rematch against Trump? Which would you rather see? The Rotten Reverend Clinton in prison, or the Rotten Reverend Clinton as Trump's opponent in 2020? Which of those two? I'll give you just a moment to make your comments. The Rotten Reverend in prison, or the Rotten Reverend against Trump in 2020? Which is it? That's a very tough call, man. That is a tough call. Do your best. Marsha Blackburn is now 8 points up on Bredesen. 8 points up on Bredesen. We also have the Minnesota teacher that called for the assassination of Judge Kavanaugh has now been forced to resign. At the very least, I think she'd be in handcuffs by now. And of course, we have the radical Dems not only calling for an end to the Electoral College, including the Rotten Reverend Clinton, but we now have the Dems now saying, threatening that when, if ever, God hopes, I hope these people never get anywhere near power, but they're saying if they ever get power back, that they're going to expand the court to sort of dilute the effect that Trump's conservative judges will have. Now, this will never happen. I mean, politically, or mathematically, or whatever it's possible, you would only need a majority in the House and a majority in the Senate, 51 votes, I guess, in the Senate, and a majority in the House, and the president to sign it, and you could actually expand the court. The problem is it would be a political disaster. A political disaster, and it would be overturned. The election would probably go to the other party in all three branches, and they would turn around and repeal it immediately. And it would be disaster for the Democrats. But that's what they are. They're the party of disaster, the party of incompetence, of intolerance, of criminality. I mean, these are some bad people, man. They're sick, they're deranged, they're psychotic, they're a bunch of sociopaths. These are dangerous people that cannot be given power. What's funny about this is that FDR, the hero of the left, tried to do this back in the 1930s. He tried to jump in there and expand the court as well. And it went so badly, he faced such harsh political backlash that he completely backed away from it and then blamed it on his attorney general. Well, that wasn't my idea. Oh, you thought that was my idea? No, that wasn't my idea at all. That turns out it was my attorney general. Yeah, he's the one. He's the one that thought of that. Yeah, bad idea. Bad attorney general. It was his idea all the time. FDR talked about it to many people. It was well known it was his idea. He's a liar and a fraud. A liar and a fraud. And that is a lot of the lefty's hero. And of course, we already know about Eleanor Roosevelt. That was the Rotten Reverend Clinton's hero. She even said back in the 80s that she used to have, like, I don't know, like seances, and they would try to, like, conjure up the spirit of Eleanor Roosevelt. These are some freaky ass people, man. Freaky ass, dangerous, criminal people that we should never let anywhere near power. Should never get these people anywhere near the reins of power in this country. They're absolutely crazy. Okay, as we have been doing, we're going to get back now to the elections that are really critical. And I want you to keep something in mind as we go through these races. As you know, I'm going through all 38 races in the House, which are going to determine who holds on to the House of Representatives. Of these 38 races, 24 of them are in places where Hillary, the Rotten Reverend, won. The Rotten Reverend won 24 of 38 of these contests, or of these districts, voting districts, in 2016. We have to win more than half of these seats to hold on to the House. Or at least half of these seats to hold on to the House. 38 races, and 24 of the 38, the Rotten Reverend Clinton won these voting districts. This is why it's so critical. These are races that are either too close to call, or toss-ups, or leaning slightly to the left or slightly to the right. So let's pick up where we left off last night. So the next race that we are watching is, if you are in Illinois, District 12, very, very important race. We have Brandon Kelly, the Democrat, running against Mike Bost, the Republican. This is slightly leaning Republican right now. Trump carried this district by 15 points. But Obama won this district in 2008 and 2012. So again, it's another one of these districts that can go either way. There's a tremendous amount of money being poured into this race. You must get out if you live in Illinois, District 12, and vote for Mike Bost. Mike Bost. Thank you. Illinois. District 13. Betsy Londrigan, the Democrat, and she's a nut. She is a far left-wing nut. Betsy Londrigan against Rodney Davis, the Republican. This district is currently leaning Republican. Trump got about 50% of the vote here, and we believe that Davis is a pretty strong candidate. He's a good guy to go out and vote for. He's pretty conservative. He's on the Trump train. A wonderful deal. But Betsy Londrigan is deep state connected, has deep ties to the Democratic Party. She's not a Johnny-come-lately. She's been around for a while. She's connected to money. There'll be a lot of dirty tricks going on. You're really going to have to get out and support in a big way Rodney Davis in District 13 in Illinois to try to bring this race home. We got to have this race. We cannot lose the seat because it's one that's currently leaning toward the Republican. Don't let this one slip away. Go out and make it happen. Next, we have Illinois District 14. This would be Lauren Underwood, the Democrat, and Randy Hultgren, the Republican. This is currently also slightly leaning Republican right now. Trump won here by a narrow margin of only 4 points. This is another very close call on this district. It's going to be, again, like most of these races, totally turnout. Turnout. You must get out in Illinois District 14 and vote for Randy Hultgren. Illinois District 14. That's where you want to be on November 6th. Please make that happen. The country is counting on you, and everything is riding on it. Everything. Iowa, District 1. Abby Finkenauer, the Commo Democrat, against Rod Bloom, the Republican. This is currently leaning, unfortunately, toward Finkenauer, the Democrat. Now, the Democrats think that they have this one in the bag. They think they have it in the bag. I think it's a locked up deal. But guess what? Trump was there last night campaigning, I believe, for Rod Bloom, as well as some of the other Iowa Republicans. This is a critical race. Iowa is another one of those places can go either way, but this right now is leaning toward the Democrat. And we have to defeat the Democrat in this race. We cannot lose here in the heartland of America to the Democrats. It's absolutely unacceptable. The crazy, psychotic criminals of the left cannot get a solid foothold in the heartland of America. We just cannot let that happen, folks. Can't let it happen. You got to get out and vote if you're in Iowa District 1. Make it happen. Rod Bloom. Iowa District 3, Cindy Oxney, Democrat, against David Young, the Republican. This race currently built as a toss-up. A toss-up. Trump, again, narrowly won this district in 2016 by 4 points. 4 points. Way too close. You got to get everybody you know out to vote in Iowa District 3. We got to do everything we can. We cannot allow the Democrats to establish a foothold into America's heartland. We just can't do it. This is battleground zero right here. This is the front lines. This is where the action is, right here in the heartland of America. This is where we have to draw the line with the psycho commies. We got to make sure they stay on the other side of the line. We don't want them penetrating into red country. Can't do it. Can't have it. Won't have it. Got to get out and vote. District 3, Iowa. Vote for David Young. Kansas. I lived in Kansas for 1 year and 4 months. Damn cold in the winter. Damn hot in the summer. Flat as a board. Boring ass place. A lot of nice folks there, though. A lot of nice folks. Kansas, District 2. Paul Davis, Democrat, against Steve Watkins, the Republican. This is currently billed as a toss-up. Now, Trump did really well in this district. He won this district by 18 points. But the Democrats are throwing a boatload of money into this race. Boatload of money. You got Soros money. You got the Rotten Reverend Clinton money. You've got, what's his name, nutcase out in California money. You've got a lot of money being poured into this race. Bloomberg and all the rest. They really want to try to make inroads into the heartland. Iowa, Kansas, Missouri. These are places where they are really going to try to make an effort because they think that this is how they need to get back the party. So what they're doing, if you look at the Democratic strategy in this particular midterm election, you can see that they're running a lot of women. First of all, they're running a lot of women. And that's why they're trying to focus so much on these women issues that touch the women's hot buttons. Okay? They're also using some women veterans. They're using some men veterans, some men running on the Democrat ticket in 2018 midterms that are former military. They just happen to be, liberals. Hey, I was in the military. Lots of liberals in the military. Sorry to report that, but that's true. Lots of Democrats, plenty of liberals in the military. So they're doing this strategy, and that's one of their attack plans. That's why they think they're going to do well, because they have a slight upper hand with women. Okay, so this is another reason why they played the blase fraud situation to the hilt, because they thought they were playing to an area of their base, a part of their base, the women vote, that they thought that they could really drive the point home and really energize women to get out and vote. Unfortunately, that backfired on them. Well, unfortunately for them, it backfired on them. It didn't seem to pay off. But we can't run any risk whatsoever. So if you are in Kansas District 2, you want to go out and support Steve Watkins. Steve Watkins, District 2, Kansas. Then, of course, we have Kansas District 3. That would be Sharice Davids, the Democrat, against Kevin Yoder, the Republican. This is also looking like a toss-up. The Rotten Reverend Clinton won this district by 1 freaking point. 1 point. 1 point could cost us the House of Representatives. 1 point in one race could cost us. What if we lose this seat, and it's the seat that gives the Democrats control of Congress, and we knew that was only a 1 point difference? That is how important each and every one of these races are. This is a critical race. Absolutely critical. Kansas, District 3, get out and vote for Kevin Yoder. Kevin Yoder, a district that's separated by 1 point. Can't afford to stay home. You got to vote, my friends, and you got to take some people with you. Good luck in Kansas District 3. Godspeed. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. You guys have a good night. Take care. Bye.